I'm going to be sharing now from the Rambam, who is Maimonides, in the Guide for the Perplexed. It says, to enlighten a religious man who has been tamed to believe in the truth of our holy law, who conscientiously fulfills his moral and religious duties, and at the same time has been successful in his philosophical studies, and to explain is the purpose of his, he wrote the Guide for the Perplexed. He writes to explain certain obscure figures which occur in the prophets and aren't distinctly characterized as being figures. Ignorant, superficial readers take them in the literal, not in figurative sense. Even well-informed persons are bewildered if they understand these passages in their literal signification. But they're entirely relieved of their perplexity when we explain the figure or merely suggest the terms are figurative. There's 3 books. The first 2 provide background and progression into the mystical philosophical knowledge required to ponder the climax. Book 1, the argument is against anthropomorphism, a corporeal God. Notions can't describe God in positive terms, just negative conceptions like not physical, not bound by time, not subject to change, creation ex nihilo. Book 2 shows biblical account of creation of netherworld. In perfect accord with Aristotelian views, spherical earth and center surrounded by concentric heavenly spheres, although the quintessence held them like jewels set in orbs. Them is the like quintessence, the essence, the quintessence is like the inner essence of the beingness, held the celestial items like jewels set in orbs. And God created the universe by producing on the first day the ratius, the intelligence, the beginning, from which the spheres derived their existence and motion, and thus became the source of the existence of the entire universe. This quintessence idea is from the 5th element, the ethereal, the transparent. And God is the prime mover with respect to causation, explanation, change, motion, contingency, dependency, and finitude. 1 in causa, 2 in esse, 3 in fieri. So cause, essence, and okay, Google, what does inferi mean?
Inferior has 5 different meanings.
Okay,
starting with the most common one.
Okay, Google, what does the Latin word inferi mean?
On the website en.wiktionary.org, they say, borrowed from Latin inferior, comparative of inferus. To find out more, look for the link in your Google Home or Google Assistant app.
I'm going to have to assume that fieri means in the lower. So in the cause, in the essence, and then in the lower, like what the consequence. Anyway, so heavenly spheres are the angels, the pure intelligence who receive power from the prime mover. Prophecy is the vision ascertained in the imagination and interpreted through the intellect of the prophet, with much being metaphor and has to occur through natural laws, with 11 levels, from direct, unimpeded, like, for example, Moses, to dreams, angels, etc. And book 3 explains the chariot passage, which we call the Merkava, which previously only was taught by indirect hints. Moral aspects of the universe analysis is 1, the problem of evil. People are responsible for free will. 2, theodicy, which is that evil has no positive existence, but is a privation of a certain capacity and doesn't proceed from God. Origins in law of production and destruction is like God's mercy is life, life perpetuates, is the justice of God in the light of humanity's suffering through trials and tests, whether it's providence, which is God's continual upholding of the universe and all existence, and special extraordinary interventions, and omniscience, which is to be intimate with, aka like truly knowing inside and out, aka to be, also known as actual consciousness. And finally, giving explanation for the 613 lifestyle ritual practices of an abstainment, so the mitzvos, the do's and the do not do's. It offers the idea of perfect harmonious life and correct worship of God. And I will share some reflections I had. It's from a few years ago again. Not again, I mean like most of my videos I share, these are from a few years ago. So I am seen by all. I don't have to put myself in other shoes. I don't have to blame anyone. It's all me. Everyone's on the same page. All is me. We are all instruments of positivity and growth channeling God. We can see into our soul, and we can see through others' eyes. There's life, there's skin, and there's leaves. And I went to a group where we learned about, it was actually a lot of Jews, but it was like a yoga group kind of, but it wasn't exactly, it was like a Shabbos Saturday, but they call it satsang. It's like getting together and talking about the truth. In Judaism, we call it farbrengen, like to come together and talk and speak in a way that brings truth. So self-care is vital, the true self, the sunbeam. We receive so we can give, and we're given to give. Marriage or unmarried has nothing to do with enlightenment. Generosity, helpfulness is better than stinginess and possessiveness. We don't have to give those who have the tools, like a mentor or a sponsor. Those are not the people to be trying to give what we have to give. They have it. We have to give to those who don't have it. And we get to empower the collective. The trauma is me, I, mine, needing to be selfish to survive, versus when we're free of attachment, we become awakened and enlightened, and we don't give in to the way that reflects ego. Then we can give our best to others. We don't have to hold the best for ourselves. That's a trust. That's a sacrifice. To give up those we love more than God is to be able to sacrifice anything if we remain in a state of trust that God will always provide. The moon reflects the light, and the courage to see ourselves in everyone, even our teacher, makes us our own teacher. And God will provide for us what our parents couldn't. This is a big one. I was writing these, it's not exactly the words people use, but this is what was important to me. And we can be small according to the family constellations. This is like, the smaller one. Family constellations, I'll do another video, but it's like the bigger to the smaller. So we don't have to bring our pain with us that isn't ours, that's our parents' burden. And nobody deserves punishment. If we didn't, no one does. We deserve mercy, all do, for being human. The constant prayer is possible, awe, glory, gratitude, basking. And we can say just like, thank you, God. God speaks to us through the humans also. Thank you. Have a blessed day.